Drutya Gopyam. The first line. Namam Ishvaram Sachitananda Rupam Lasat Kundalam Gokule Brajamana. So, I offer my respectful obeisances, Namam Ishvaram, unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sachit Ananda Rupam, whose form is composed of Sat, Chit, and Ananda, eternity, knowledge, and bliss. Lasat Kundalam. Lasat Kundala means whose earrings swinging to and fro and playing upon his cheeks. So Krishna has earrings. And these earrings are made of, we'll see some other days, they are the form of makara, of the very interesting animal, which nobody knows how does it look like. But he has these makara earrings, Lasat Kundalam, they're playing on his cheeks, these earrings. And who is splendorously, Gokula Brajamana, splendorously manifest in Gokula. Gokula Brajamana. Yashoda Biolukaladavamanam, who is very fearful of Madi Yashoda, and who jumping down from the wooden grinding mortar, Paramrishta Matyam Tato Drutya Gopya, quickly runs away and is chased by Madi Yashoda, who is running very quickly after him. Ultimately, Krishna is caught from behind. So this is the first line. So we'll speak today, actually, maybe disappointedly, but only about the first word, namam, offering obeisances, because this is very important to offer obeisances before we start anything, as sometimes all the time, in the writings of the six Goswamis, on the writings of even Prabhupada, is always, there's the so-called Mangala Charana, the auspicious glorifications of the previous acharyas, or sometimes in Bhaktivinoda Thakur offer obeisance to Lord Chaitanya, or which is important to recognize where is the knowledge coming from, and by whose mercy we are able to actually access this knowledge. Like when we sing Yasya Prasadat, Bhagavad Prasadam, and then the whole actually Samsara Dava in the morning is a glorification of Guru. Because without Guru we cannot even see the deities actually. It says, what is the line of Shri Vigrahara Dana Nityanana? By the mercy of the Guru, we are able to actually participate in morning program. Because morning program is the part of the Archana. It's not like Archana is only for the Pujaris. There are Pujaris, Archana, we are standing here. Actually this is all Archanam. Worshipping the deity is also standing in front of the deities during the program, during the Aratik. This is also Archana. So therefore, we dress well, trying to dress our best. We put out tilak in the morning, we take shower before we come, we dress in clean clothes, because this is also part of the Archana. And without the mercy of the Guru, we cannot actually participate in the Archana. Without the mercy of Guru, we cannot eat prasadam. This is interesting. We think, it's prasadam. Cling, 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 Shri Vishnu, Shri Vishnu, Shri Vishnu. Somebody was even joking, imagining that, you go to the Kheer ocean, of the milk, Shveta Dvip, when Kshirodakashai Vishnu lays, and on the bank of the ocean, all these chips and cakes, and devotees offer Shri Vishnu, Shri Vishnu, Shri Vishnu, and all these chips is laying there, and Shri Vishnu is chewing on chips. But actually, without the mercy of Prabhupada, without the mercy of course, we use Prabhupada now because he's our eternal Shiksha Guru, at least for the next 10,000 years, we are not be able to eat even prasadam, actually. Which is an amazing thing. We see in a book called Chaitanya Mangala how glorious to eat prasadam. Lord Shiva was begging Lord Vishnu, and it was not possible. So somehow from Lord Vishnu's, I don't remember exactly the story, fell down on the ground, and Lord Shiva took some, and Mother Durga took some, and they were dancing. Shiva was dancing so ecstatically that everybody thought there's another crash of the universe going to happen. So all these particular things are not possible without the mercy of the Guru. And what to speak of making spiritual advancement? Shri Radhika Madhava Yora Para. Madhurya Lila Gunarupanama. Without the Guru, we will not be able to understand the rasa of relationship, different 5 rasas with Krishna. So this should be always understood, always understood. And therefore, everything we should read Prabhupada's books. Again, I have to emphasize 100 times, 108 times. Reading Prabhupada's books. Nowadays we can read so many books and so many things. You go to the Vrindavan, to the bookstore, and there's a cornucopia. You know what cornucopia is? Cornucopia is the pot which doesn't have, it fulfills all your desires. So whatever you cook, it comes out. It's like a surabi cow of the bookstore. All wish-fulfilling trees, all kinds of books we have, and wonderful books by the Goswamis, and wonderful books by other devotees. But actually, our core reading should be Prabhupada's books. Core reading, at least 80%, or if not 90%, should be Prabhupada's books, because everything is in Prabhupada's books. In reality, everything is in Prabhupada's books. I remember there was a time I tried to read Jiva Goswami's, different anuchedas, different sandarbhas, and I just realized this is everything. Actually, everything whatever Prabhupada wrote was there. And of course, of course you read some other books, but mainly Prabhupada's books, because in Prabhupada's books it's not only information. In Prabhupada's books there's also instruction. How to perform devotional service. What is the goal of devotional service? We will see a little bit here about the prayers. How important it is to know whom you are praying. What are you praying for? So, Namamishwaram Sachitananda Rupam Lasat Kundalam Gokule Brajamanam. So, first of all, Prabhupada said in the Chaitanya Charitamrita that if somebody writes poetry or somebody writes anything dealing with transcendental subject matter, this person is not an ordinary writer or ordinary translator, Prabhupada says. Because sometimes we think, Prabhupada translated these books. He actually did not write Bhagavatam. He translated Bhagavatam. But translating Bhagavatam also requires devotion. Because I actually read, I don't want to say one outside of ISKCON edition of Bhagavatam, Srimad-Bhagavatam, and it was just okay. Did not touch me at all. That was just some 5-6 years ago. I thought, let me try to see. I was the 4th canto Dhruva Maharaj. And I read this, I was thinking, wow, with all respect, of course, this person was translating in English, and he is also Vaishnava. But you cannot compare it to Prabhupada's Srimad-Bhagavatam. Because Prabhupada is not only a translator. Sorry, I have to. Srila Prabhupada is not only a translator. Srila Prabhupada actually imbued these books and these purports with transcendental knowledge and power to actually make advancement in Krishna consciousness. And therefore in the Bhagavad Gita introduction, Srila Prabhupada says, there are so many, 700 whatever, the translations of Bhagavad Gita. Nowadays, I'm sure there are much, much more, thousands of translated in English. He said, but none of these translations made a single devotee of Krishna. So that is the difference between Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita. Because he actually created so many devotees of Krishna. We are still reading, because Prabhupada wrote it, and this is amazing. The Prabhupada's purports are not different from the scripture. It's just extended explanation what the scriptures are. So therefore, Prabhupada says that someone is dealing with this transcendental subject matter writing, or is that this is not an ordinary writer or translator, because he is empowered by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, that whatever he writes becomes effective. You know, Prabhupada was so empowered that he could walk on the street and people saw him. This famous incident with Hayagriva, Howard Wheeler, was walking and he saw Prabhupada on the street and he immediately came to Prabhupada and he said, "Are you from India?" And Prabhupada says, "Yes, have you been to India?" And he said, "Yes." So that they became friendly and later on, Hayagriva became a disciple of Prabhupada. Honor, Ananda Krishna. So it is not an ordinary, it's not ordinary scripture, it's not an ordinary book. Therefore, we should always remember this. Always remember that there's so many books to read, there's so many interesting books. You know, even our spiritual masters write books. It's all wonderful, but we should read. Majority of our information should come from Prabhupada's books. So I have to repeat this, probably every lecture I will repeat this. This is so important, because in Prabhupada clears the path back to Godhead. It is, have anybody been in big jungle, you know, like Florida, for example, forest? It's so thick, Florida forest is so thick that you cannot walk through. It's just not possible. The bush is very strong and all kinds of thorns, and you cannot walk through unless you have a machete to cut through. And Prabhupada, exactly, this is what he did. He cut through the forest of all kinds of information for all kinds of philosophies, and he went straight. He said, this is the path. So Prabhupada's books, Ki Jai. So therefore, Srila Sanatana Goswami therefore warned all neophyte devotees that one should not hear from the mouth of a non-Vaishnava. Avaishnava mukhodgirnam putam hari katamritam shravanam naiva kartavyam sarpochishtam yata payaha. Sanatana Goswami, this is a quote from Padma Purana. One should not hear anything about Krishna from a non-Vaishnava. Milk touched by the lips of a serpent has poisonous effect. Similarly, talks about Krishna given by non-Vaishnava are also poisonous. Why are they poisonous? Because there will be some information which is ashastrik, not shastrik, and not siddhantic. Like you have in Vrindavan all these nice tapes, you know, music. You know, I also liked it, I must say, when I go to Govardhan Parikrams, there are all kinds of, you know, nice songs who are blazing loud, and this sounds very nice. Radhe, Radhe, you know. And then you think, wow, this is wonderful. But actually, is it siddhantic? What is the siddhanta of this? You know, they said, for example, Radharani, please call your Shyam because we want to see your Shyam. Something like this, for example. And this is not according to our Rupa Goswami's philosophy, our Sampradaya's line. So we should not hear this. Avaishnava mukhodgirnam. So also, for example, there was of course, there was a little bit of mock fight in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. The one devotee, Brahmananda Bharati, he came to Lord Chaitanya and he said, wonderful seeing you. There's a Brahman, you know, in the temple, which is Lord Jagannath, and you are the moving Brahman. Meaning that also it could be subtly implied that this is a Mayavadi philosophy. Mayavadi philosophy means there's a Brahman, unmoved Brahman, and there's a stationary Brahman, and there's a moving Brahman. So you are moving Brahman. So just like we are all, according to Mayavadi philosophy, we are all Brahman. We are just moving, and Brahman is stationary. And we are moving because we are in illusion, that this material world is real, and this is called Vivarta, Vivartavada. Vivarta philosophy means illusion, philosophy of illusion. And once we get out of the illusion and attain moksha, we realize we are Brahman also. Just like the bubbles in the ocean, when they pop, they merge with the ocean. Something like this. So he told this to Lord Chaitanya, you are moving Brahman, and stationary Brahman is in temple Jagannath. And Lord Chaitanya said, no. We are Brahmans, two moving Brahmans, me and you. and Jagannath is the stationary Brahman. Wanted to say, of course, this devotee later on clarified that he says no, explanation was there that Lord Chaitanya actually is Supreme Personality of Godhead. But the point here is that has to be duality. Duality is that we are separate from Krishna. We are not Krishna. We will never be God. I was once in one festival where lots of people were intoxicated. All of them, basically. And then in the morning, we woke up to chant our rounds at 4 o'clock in the morning, 5 o'clock, whatever. We were chanting. The sun just came up slowly. And this person was all night, you can see in his face, like all night not sleeping. And he was looking at the sun, and he was jumping to catch the sun. And I was thinking, in his mind, I'm sure he sees that he can probably jump, because drug-infused brain, he probably thought, I will jump to get the sun. But from the external point of view, it looks ridiculous and looks very sad. There's such a soul, which is like a most powerful, pure, jiva, is put in such a position. He's like standing in so filthy clothes, and he thinks he will catch the sun. That's never going to happen. So therefore, there's a two. And then sometime later on, we had a lecture in the morning, and one person came in the middle of the lecture. He walked in. This was like a forest, environment. And one person came in and he said, "I am God," shouting, And we were like, "No, not really." God is not dressed in, there's a description what kind of God, how the God looks like, and you are not exactly the most beautiful, dazzling. We read, when we came first, we read this verse from Srimad-Bhagavatam explaining the beauty of King Prithu. King Prithu looked wonderful, broad chest, straight nose, most beautiful features. When he would glance his prajas and his citizens, they would all feel like, satisfied, because he glanced at me. Imagine such a power of the King Prithu, that he just looked at his prajas, praja means citizens, and they would be so satisfied just by them. He looked at me, like, whatever. I happen to have if you make some famous, we had one. we had a Harinam. That was the once in Atlanta, and we had a Harinam. We just said that Harinam, Hare Krishna. Devotees went in 2 rows, and suddenly one brahmachari stood out of a group of us and started spinning. Oh my God! Oh my God! He is here! KRS-One is here! And I did not know what is KRS-One. What is KRS-One? Anybody knows KRS-One? You know, but you're older. Anybody younger? No. KRS-One was at that time very famous rap singer. And he saw him because KRS-One was in the car, and somehow he was driving next to us. And he was like, "Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God." I said, "Cool down, And I went to the KRS-One, he stopped the car next to us, and I said, "Hey, Hare Krishna." And he said, "Hare Bol." He said, "Hare Bol, Hare Krishna." He actually apparently knew the devotees, so he took Bhagavad Gita, he gave us some nice donation, whatever. Yeah, his name is from Krishna, KRS. They call him Little Krishna when he was young. Because he somehow liked Krishna consciousness, whatever, So he had some song, I don't know maybe exactly his songs, but maybe but this devotee, brahmachari, was flipping out. Oh my God, KRS. So this is how when we see King Prithu, we're like, oh my God, Prithu saw me, King Prithu saw me. Imagine he asked, how are you, Munindra Prabhu? You're like, oh, the ladies, he glanced at me and Jaya Sacinandana Prabhu. So it is important to actually understand that to hear about from the authorized sources, to read things from the authorized sources. This is what the point is. So So therefore, we offer obeisances to the Lord. When we see Krishna, we offer obeisances. We offer prayers. This is what I first word of the Namamishwaram Sachitananda Rupam is the Namam. We offer our obeisances. And when we see the Lord, what do we first thing? The darshan opens, we bow down, Dante Trina Kori, more or less. Dante Trina Kori means with the straw between our teeth. We offering with humility, we offer our obeisance to the Lord, recognizing He is the Supreme Lord. I saw this wonderful prayer, so I thought I would read it, 5.18.8. Anybody, some senior devotees know. Om Namo Bhagavate Narasimhaya. Namaste Jasteja Se Avir Avir Bhava. Vajranaka Vajradramstra Karmashayan. Randaya Randaya Tamograsa Grasa. Om Svaha. Abhayam Abhayam. Atmani Bhuishta Om Kshram. This is a famous prayer to Lord Nrsimhadev. So we pray when we see Gonitai, we pray Vande Shri Krishna Chaitanya Nityananda Sahodita. Gododaya Pushpavanta Chitra Shandatamonu. There are so many wonderful prayers. Anarpita Charim Chirat Karunya Vatirna Kala and so on. Wonderful prayers. So we should actually pray to Krishna like this. I'll go to this a little bit more, but the point is that actually I will continue. That whatever, before any commencement on anything we do, like our day, actually it is described in this orange book by Krishna Kshetra Maharaj. You know these two orange books? I don't know what's the name of it. Anybody knows? Huh? Pancharatrika Pradik. And it's described when you wake up. This I remember when the book came out. I was reading it. Of course, I'm totally, for me, this is a very difficult subject matter, Pujari world. But the one thing I really liked was when you wake up, first thing when you open your eyes, you should offer obeisance to Mother Bhumi, to the earth, and beg for forgiveness that you can step on the Mother Earth. I was like, wow, this is such a wonderful, actually, way to start the day. Because, people wake up and, there's a infamous song by the group band called Doors. I woke up this morning, I had myself a beer. So they just go open the fridge and you just drank a beer. And this is like a wake up. Or people say, how many times in Germany? I think Germany is in Europe the biggest coffee drinkers in Europe or something like this. Some crazy number of coffee people drink. Because without coffee, you cannot wake up. Why would you drink a coffee? Immediately intoxication. Imagine. You're already intoxicated with the material world, and you're in the mode of ignorance all night, and you get up and you take more intoxication. But this is such a pure, wonderful thing. You wake up and you offer obeisance to Mother Bhumi. I'm sorry that I have to step on you. This is a wonderful thing. Wonderful thing. And in India they say, please excuse my existence, as a joke. Many brahmacharis. You have experience? No. Haribol Prabhu, Hare Krishna, what's your name? Please excuse my existence. So, whether it is serious or not, this is a different story, but it's a nice way to actually, it's a humble way. So, before we do anything, we offer our obeisances. Before we start reading Bhagavatam, we read Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. We offer our obeisance to Vasudeva. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Srila Prabhupada started the Bhagavad Gita with this auspicious Mangala Charana. Mangala means auspicious, Mangala Charana. I offer my spectral obeisances to my spiritual master who has opened my eyes, which were blinded by the darkness of ignorance, Timirandasya, with the torchlight of knowledge. This is such a nice prayer. So we always remind ourselves, I'm reading Srimad-Bhagavatam, but without my spiritual master, he has opened my eyes so I can actually understand Srimad-Bhagavatam with the torchlight of knowledge. The next prayer, Prabhupada put it, Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Svayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Sapadantikam. Actually, every devotee should learn this by heart, auswendig. If you don't know these prayers, write them down. Actually, in the Bhagavad Gita, I learned them. It's good to know them. We are repeating these prayers over and over and over again. I don't know many prayers, but I know this, like Mangal Arati, we should learn by heart. We know that it's embarrassing. We read Mangal Arati. And then sometimes, some temples, there's very few devotees, and somebody does know the text, and he wants to sing, and he does know the words, and then he reads, and he cannot even read properly. Learn Samsara Dava, auswendig, by heart. When I started my unofficial Bhakta program, this was the first thing this devotee was teaching me. Samsara Dava, word by word. And even now, I don't know the whole, exactly word by word, but I know what is the verse about, at least. And I remember ever since. So learn Samsara Dava. Learn Guru Puja by heart. Learn Tulasi by heart. The many devotees don't know Tulasi by heart. This is also embarrassing. You want to sing Tulasi and, where is the text? These are few songs which we sing all the time. So learn them by heart. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale. This is interesting. Rupa Goswami, this is a prayer. When will Rupa Goswami, Swayam Rupa Kadamayam, when will Rupa Goswami, Prabhupada, who has established within the material world the mission to fulfill the desires of Lord Chaitanya, Stapitam, stapitam means establishing. When he established the mission to fulfill desires of Lord Chaitanya, Stapitam yena bhutale, on this world, like we know Prabhupada's also prayer, bhutale. And Sri Chaitanya Mano Bhishtam, there's actually a section in the Chaitanya Charitamrita where Lord Chaitanya once visited the house of Rupa Goswami. House means there was a hut made of banana leaves. They make this straw, and they make this like a kind of a grid, some kind of cheapest, And he was living in this little hut, so-called hut. And then because he was dealing with the Muslim government, he thought himself unfit to enter the Jagannath temple because he thought he is polluted by the Muslims, and he is not fit to enter the Jagannath temple. Many times when we go to Jagannath Puri, you think like, I'm not allowed as a white person to enter Jagannath temple, and I felt somewhat unhappy about it. Actually, even Prabhupada came to Jagannath Puri only once, and next time he said, unless my disciples are not allowed to enter, I will never go to Jagannath Puri. So this is a very nice way, Prabhupada appreciation of his disciples. If they cannot enter Jagannath Puri, I'm not going to Jagannath Puri. Simple. So I don't know, I also somehow, maybe I'm, but somehow I also feel Prabhupada didn't go to Jagannath Puri, Anyways. So the point is that, and then Lord Chaitanya came to see, instead of Rupa Goswami going to Jagannath temple, he did not go to Jagannath temple. And instead, Lord Chaitanya came every day to see Rupa Goswami. Imagine, God himself comes to visit you. Haribol, how are you doing? Bhakta Stas. It's okay. I'm a little bit mental today, but it's okay. So he came to see Rupa Goswami, and Rupa Goswami was not there in the hut. But there was a little, Rupa Goswami would write on these leaves, and he would put whatever he was written, he would put on the, stick in the top of the dach, on the ceiling. Ceiling means, probably very small. So Lord Chaitanya saw, and he opened it, he took one of the leaves, and he looked, and he said, and the verse was explaining, I'm paraphrasing, I am the same Krishna, I'm the same Radharani, he's the same Krishna, but this is not the same. But it didn't say Radharani and Krishna, it just said, you are the same boy, I'm the same girl, and this is the same summer season, whatever the season. But somehow my heart is not happy because I wish that we both go to the bank of Yamuna under the Vetasi tree. So Lord Chaitanya saw this verse and he became very ecstatic, started dancing. So many times Lord Chaitanya became ecstatic, started dancing by himself. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. So, and sometimes we see when we have young devotees, when they're very enthusiastic, they are dancing, they are cleaning the floor and Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare. And very good, this. So, and all the devotees should also dance and be ecstatic about what they do. Not like now we are senior, we are this floor, okay, I'll do this. But no, it's all ecstatic. It's actually ecstatic. Krishna consciousness is ecstatic. We should eat prasadam, and when it is said when Krishna is eating prasadam and his cowherd boys, his friend Madhu Mangal does what? First of all, he steals laddu from Krishna, from his plate, and second, he put his hand under here and does. Everybody's laughing. So, because it's ecstatic to eat with Krishna. So you should not shy to be ecstatic in Krishna consciousness. Stas, now you know. Anyways, I'm going to this now. Theological, there was a Ravindra Sarup Prabhu was explaining, just quickly, digression. Ravindra Sarup Prabhu was explaining, he had some inter-religious dialogue. And he explained to these people that, he said the whole problem in religion is the people, lots of big problem, is that what people think about religion, what religionists think about religion, is that religion is divided into two. One is called logical religion, I don't know how this is called, or serious religion, religionism, meaning you are studying, jnana yoga basically. You are studying, you're doing some austerity, and by your logic and reasoning, you become advanced, by being serious. And another one is populistic. Populistic means people's, folks religion. And folks religion means dancing, chant, because people are, generally people are not smart to read the shastras, and people are just like, oh, Krishna, Hari, And therefore, when we have a festival, people are dancing. They have no idea what is it, but it's nice. It's dancing, eating prasadam. It's all wonderful. How's the Hare Krishna? It's nice. It's very nice. This is the Hare Krishna movement for them. So these two groups. But he said mostly people about what they think about religion is this one, left one, the serious one. Not I'm using my left hand. It's not left. Politically left. So this is a serious religion, and the one populistic is not so serious. He says, but actually, Lord Chaitanya or Rupa Goswami, but in his books, in his scripture, combine these two. And this is the uniqueness that nobody is any other, because Maharaj Prabhu studied, he has PhD in religious study, and he said all the religion, there's nobody really combined the two. And this is the uniqueness of Rupa Goswami. So therefore, we study Shastra very seriously. We study Sanskrit. We learn the verses. Bhakta Stas, 212. Dehinosminyata dehe. Do you know it auswendig? 9. Learn it. At the same time, dance in kirtan, make jokes. It says actually that in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, the Lord Chaitanya would. There was one, I forgot his name, the devotee. Was it Ramachandra Khan? I'm not sure. He said he would come to Lord Chaitanya and he will sing Hare Krishna mantra in very humorous ways. And Lord Chaitanya would laugh. So what is the humorous way? We don't know. If you ever, if somebody has a vision of the Leela, please let us know. But this would be nice. Lord Chaitanya, you said, oh, Lord Chaitanya would laugh. Ha ha, look at this, ridiculous. So Lord Chaitanya liked that also. We are not like, we are serious religion, but we are also relaxed religion. So therefore, devotees cannot take sides in politics, leftists against the right wing. No, we are Hare Krishnas, and everything is here. Everything is here. Strictness, not strictness, the austerity, Rupa Goswami. In the Bhagavad Gita, when Prabhupada says one should be moderate, many times, when I give lectures, devotees ask me, how do you become moderate? I always quote this verse from the Bhagavad Gita, purport, where Prabhupada says, the best moderation is given by Rupa Goswami. He would sleep only 2 hours. Sometimes not even that. So this is, according to Prabhupada, this is the moderation. To sleep 2 hours. So we go to this extreme, but we also go to the other. Devotees are wrestling even sometimes, or whatever we do. Anyways, so come back to the Rupa Goswami story. that Lord Chaitanya came and he said, Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam, this is the verse. And Lord Chaitanya said, how could Rupa Goswami understand my mind? Imagine this, you understand the mind of God. This is amazing. You know, when we are married, we understand the mind of our wives. And our wife understand the mind of man. Of friends, we understand the mind of a friend, what we like, how we think, you know. But you understand the mind of God. That's something amazing. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam, the mind of Lord Chaitanya. Especially if there's at that time, nowhere in the Shastras, actually historically, nowhere in the Shastras was described too much. Some. I think at that time there was not even 10 cantos Srimad-Bhagavatam translated into Bengali. There was very few descriptions of Lord Chaitanya's, how do you say, love of Krishna Prema. There was nobody really. There was a Vidyapati, what's his name, the poet. There was a Kavi Karnapur, and there was what is his name? Another third one I forgot. There's a three of the Bengali poet. Anyway, what? No, this was after. Before Mahaprabhu. That one. Yeah. Jayadev. So these three, really, this was it. And this is also kind of mixed. You can see when you read, kind of mixed with a little bit of a loving relationship between men and, it's very difficult to discern. So there was no 10 cantos of Srimad-Bhagavatam. At that time, there was no temples of Radha and Krishna. Actually, there was one temple of Radha and Krishna in whole Orissa, or something like this. And there was not even much of a Vishnu worship, really. The evidence was, I read some, research, I did some little research. The evidence was that Vishnu worship was only in some cave, there was some painting, and there was some kind of Vishnu worship. That was in the 15th or 14th century, something like this. There was not much. So Lord Chaitanya brought this, you can say, as we read yesterday, Prema Pumarta Mahan, the goal of life is Prema, Krishna Prema. He brought this to the world. So nobody really knew that. And most of the devotees who were chanting around Lord Chaitanya at that time, Lord Chaitanya did not speak philosophy in public. Also, we read it in Chaitanya Charitamrita, so we know now. But at that time, Lord Chaitanya did not speak philosophy in public. He spoke to Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya and in Gambhira only to the few people, Ramananda Roy and Sarup Damodar and few people. And he would go out and he said during the day, Lord Chaitanya, during the night he would be completely in ecstasy of Radha and Krishna. And during the day he would do his best to control himself, to don't show the ecstatic emotions. And he would just be, another devotee, you can say. So there was not much externally. So then how could Rupa Goswami understand his mind? So Lord Chaitanya was wondering, how could he know my mind? Of course, Rupa Goswami knew because he was empowered by Lord Chaitanya. Anyways, I have prepared all kinds of things. Like also, I want to go through the whole Mangala Charanam prayer, Vande Shri Guru Shri Yuta Pagal Kamalam. But I will not. I would speak a little bit about the prayer to Srila Prabhupada. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya, Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale, Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namina. This is like a classic beginning. We have all our acharyas, except Bhaktivinoda Thakur is Namo Bhaktivinodaya. Sachitananda Namine Gora Shakti Sarupaya Rupanuga Varayate. So Prabhupada's Nama Om, again, Nama, we offer my obeisances. Om is signifying, this is actually transcendental. Vishnu Padaya. Vishnu Pad means one who sits at the feet of Vishnu, who is very dear to Lord Vishnu. Vishnu Pad. We had one leader in our yatra here, his name was Vishnu Pad, one who is very dear to Lord Vishnu. So Vishnu Padaya, Krishna Preshtaya. Preshta means very close to Krishna. We have these gopis, Krishna Preshtas. These are very, very dear, very close associates. We have a devotees, but we have a preshtas. Very Krishna preshtaya. Bhutale mean of this earth, in this world. So such a person who is always sitting in the feet of Vishnu, and who is actually very dear to Lord Krishna, who is very in his inner circle, this person is walking on this earth. At least was walking on this earth. Wow, this is amazing beginning. Srimate, Srimate is like a hair, as we in Germany said, Herr Miller. This is the respect, Srimate. Bhaktivedanta, this is the name of Prabhupada, Bhaktivedanta. Because Prabhupada was knowledgeable in all the Bhakti Shastras. And devotees just gave him name Bhaktivedanta. Devotees gave him the name. This is also interesting. Devotees gave you name. His name was Abhay Charanaravinda. And after some time, Prabhupada was so knowledgeable in Shastras, he was write different articles. And Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, his guru, was very pleased. And he would approve. He said, whatever he writes, publish it. So Prabhupada became known as Bhaktivedanta. So this is interesting also. In India, everything is a little bit flexible, we have in the West here, so rigid. They gave him the name, actually Bhaktivedanta. I had one godbrother when I was getting initiated. I just met him now in Ireland. He just reminded me. I got the name Jaya Sacinandana. And he got name Jagannath. And then he went to the spiritual master and he said, can I also be named Jaya Sacinandana, Jaya Jagannath? He said, sure. Jaya Jagannath. So this is unusual. But it's okay, So, Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin iti namin. This is his name, Bhaktivedanta Swamin iti namin. And now the second line is the punchline, because in the beginning, Prabhupada was named Swamiji. They call him Swamiji, this and that, Swamiji, this and that. In the beginning, Swamiji had to wait in line for the people to take shower in the temple. Imagine, you take shower and Prabhupada is number 4 waiting in line, and you are taking shower before Prabhupada, And Prabhupada, His Divine Grace, Shaktivesh Avatar, waiting in line for some hippie guy to take shower. And then Prabhupada would go to the kitchen and cook for them, because they did not know how to cook. Who knew, anybody of men knew how to cook before they joined the Hare Krishna movement? Lift up your hand. So many. I was complete disaster. I burned always. Disaster. And then I joined the Hare Krishna movement, and then I was maybe a month. And then we had one Bengali cook. That was in Vrindavan. We had one Bengali cook. It was really good. But he was sick. His mother was sick, and he had to go to Bengal quickly. And he said, we don't have anybody to cook. You should cook. Because today we have 2 sannyasis guests. I was like, oh my God, me, I never. So I said, how do I was total panic. And I asked him, how should I cook? So he explained to me, you put this, And I said, how much spices should I put? And he said, this much. I said, what is this, In Europe, it's like, 1/3 of a soup, whatever, spoon, and you have a esslöffel, you have the small löffel, And he said, this much. I said, what is it, this much? What does that mean? He said, just put there, it's good. And I cooked, I can imagine there was disaster, but they said it was okay. Very merciful devotees, But after that, they said, oh, you cook well, so you should become our cook. And then I start cooking, cooking. Then, of course, to cook something, you have to learn a recipe, and you have to read about it, and you have to ask some Matajis how to cook. Matajis, they say, don't put this, don't put that. And on the end, I cooked how many tons of food I can imagine. In the Rainbows in America, I cooked for 3,000 people every day. Imagine, for 3,000 people with this big pedal. In Germany, in India, they cook for like 10,000 or something, these big festivals, or 20,000 people. So Prabhupada said, we are kitchen religion. This is our, if you don't know how to cook, you have to learn how to cook. Prabhupada, I again digress a little bit. They asked Prabhupada, what is the girl, when a young girl, what does she need to do in order to get married? And Prabhupada says, first of all, she has to learn how to cook. You know how to cook? Yes. And, and Prabhupada says, she has to learn how to cook. And the devotee says, well, Prabhupada, what if she doesn't learn how to cook? And Prabhupada says, she has to learn how to cook. And the West, what if she doesn't know how to cook? And Prabhupada said, she has to learn how to cook, So you have to, as a devotee, you have to learn how to cook. How will you preach if you don't know how to cook? Because preaching is like at least 80% prasadam. At least. Kirtan 19% and philosophy is like 0.75. Isn't it? Of course, Ananda Krishna has a different experience, but he doesn't offer any food. He just speaks and people are, But, for the temples, it's like 90% is food, 80% at least food. Any festival, say, oh, prasad, now everybody's like, everybody's like lecture, But then prasadam is coming, everybody's so alive and jumping and pakoras, Anyways, so, why did I come to this prasadam now? Anyways, I come back to Namaste. Oh, yes, they call him Swamiji. That's it. They call him Swamiji. And then one day, one devotee said, Swamiji, I read that the guru or the spiritual master, Acharya, should be named Vishnupad or Prabhupada. How should we call you? Can we call you Prabhupada? And Prabhupada said, yes, you can call me Prabhupada. Govinda Das. Yes.
And then he asked him, okay, but how can we call you then? If this third that we don't want to call then. And he then said, Vishnupad and Prabhupada is nice.
Yes.
So then he asked, which of the two? So he's come up with something.
So this is how Prabhupada became Prabhupada. And then they asked him, because they saw the Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, he has like 3 mantras or 4 mantras. Madhurya Jvala Prema Dhyashi Rupa Nuga Bhakti Dashi Gora Karma Shakti Vigraha Namastate. And then I said, Prabhupada, we should have at least 2 for you, because they have a Namam Vishnupada. Krishna Pashtaya Bhutala Srimad Bhaktivedanta Samiti Namine. It's a mantra. We should have 2. But at that time, nobody knew Sanskrit. And Prabhupada said, I will write one. So Prabhupada wrote this second prayer. Namaste Saraswati Deve, meaning he is the disciple of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati. I recently in Ireland heard one senior Prabhupada disciple said that it should be Namaste Saraswati Devam. And I researched, and Prabhupada says both are okay, grammatically, but proper is actually Saraswati Deve. Prabhupada confirmed Deve. So Devam is not, it's okay, but it's not what Prabhupada says. Prabhupada says Deve. So Namaste Saraswati Deve, meaning he's disciple of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati. Gora Vani Pracharina. We know the Vani means instructions. There are 2 ways to associate with a saintly person, with the Guru, as Vani and Vapu. Vapu is when the Guru comes and you cook all these wonderful foods and you serve him. And Maharaj said, oh, I have a stone in my shoe. Can you take it out? You take the shoe. And all these wonderful services we do. Driving to the airport, massaging, This is the Vapu. But Vani is following the instructions of the Guru or senior devotee. And Prabhupada says out of the 2, Vani is more important. Because by Vani, you can keep on doing it. By Vapu, you may think, okay, he's not there. As they say in India, Jai Guru, Bhai Guru. Jai Guru means Guru came and Guru goes. Bhai Guru, now I can do anything I want. Guru is not here anymore. Guru comes and we sit in front row and we are very intense, listening, writing notes. And then Guru leaves and we are like, phew, go back, never come to the temple again. Until the next year when the Guru comes. So, no Jai Guru by Guru, but Gauravani Pracharine, the actually preachings of Lord Chaitanya, he's preaching the glories of instructions of Lord Chaitanya, Gauravani. And then, what kind of preaching? Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. He is, you can say, delivering, or he's freeing the material Western world, particularly Western world, from Nirvishesha and Shunyavadi. Nirvishesha means impersonalism, Mayavadi philosophy, which is rising in the Western world like anything. And Shunyavadi is also rising, Buddhism. Shunya means nihilism, nothingness. I read, I was glancing, I didn't really read, I read some Kalki Purana. You know Kalki Avatar? He's supposed to be the last avatar in the Kali Yuga. At the end of the Kali Yuga, Lord Kalki will appear, and this will be the end of Kali Yuga. And after him will begin the Satya Yuga. And there are some descriptions of Kalki Avatar, so on and so forth. And then he would go to one village. And this village is a Buddhist village. Apparently, Buddhism will survive until the end of the Kali Yuga, for your information. And he wanted to fight him, but the men were not there. So the Buddhist women came up with swords and everything, and they wanted to fight Kalki. And Kalki was laughing. He said, "I cannot fight women, so I'm not going to fight you." I think he just took their, by mystic powers, his weapon away, or something like this. I cannot know exactly the story. But the point is, the Buddhists were still there at the end of the Kali Yuga. So Buddhism, Nirvishesha, Shunyavadi. So these are the Prabhupada's two main preaching fields. The field of impersonalism, against nihilism. Oh, I wanted to also, for the end, can I say also, are you bored, or you want to, can I say 5 more minutes? This is we were speaking yesterday about a little bit about Aishwarya, the relationship with Krishna in Aishwarya, and the relationship with Krishna in spontaneous devotional service. We spoke about spontaneous devotional service. So, what do spontaneous devotees in spontaneous devotional service, do they offer obeisances? Is the question. Because we are spontaneous, I'll just say, "Oh, Krishna, how are you?" We give Krishna apple from our hand. Would you like to eat? This is what we usually think spontaneous devotional service is. Or we put Krishna watch, or there was a temple in Vrindavan that they had dressed one day Radharani in jeans. On the Banki Bihari, Radharani was dressed in jeans, and she had a handy. Handy is cell phone. So this is apparently spontaneous devotional service, but we don't do this. Prabhupada gave instructions that we behave as we are in Aishwarya, as we are worshiping Krishna in awe and reverence. At the same time, this process of spontaneity is happening internally in our heart. So we still come, even if you are thinking of Krishna 24 hours and you cannot wake up in the morning, you cannot wait until the morning you can see Lord Nrsimhadev and Prabhupada, and you think, your heart is beating, when will I see Nrsimhadev? I cannot wait. Even if that, we should still honor Srila Prabhupada's instruction, and we should behave like a sadhaka. Sadhaka means person who is doing sadhana. And we see the Rupa Goswami, the other Goswamis, they also offer obeisances. Raghunath Das Goswami offered around 1,000 obeisances every day to different people. They say he would just think like this. To Rupa Goswami, he would offer Dandavat. To Sanatana Goswami, he offered Dandavat. To Lord Chaitanya, to offer that. So he would just offer over and over and over obeisances. That was his Sankhya Purvaka. What is that? Sankhya Purvaka? Nama Natibi, whatever. I forgot the second line. But meaning they were very strict in executing their devotional services, although they were on spontaneous platform. So this said, we come offer obeisance to the Lord, offer praise to our spiritual master first, before. Then you offer praise to Prabhupada. Then we are qualified to see the Lord. We offer praise to the Lord. And then we sing whatever. But I wanted to just, in the spiritual world, because we spoke yesterday a little bit about Briha Bhagavatamrita by Sanatana Goswami. And I wanted to just explain a little bit, how does actually a person who goes to the spiritual world, Goloka Vrindavan, how do they offer obeisance to the Lord? How do they offer when they see Krishna Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Padaya. How do they do it? So this is actually a description of Gopakumar who traveled throughout the different universes and finally came to Goloka Vrindavan and saw his object of his love, Krishna, in Vrindavan. And he saw him from a distance. And his charming flute in his hand, and he was quick, was running, and animals. And then Krishna saw him, and he said, "Look, Sri Rama," to his friend. "Look, this is my dear friend, Sarupa." He already gave him a name. His name is Sarupa. Although he was not, you can say initiated. He would come first, and he would say, "This is my friend, Sarupa." And Krishna was dressed, as is explained here, for a forest. He had the garments, earrings, peacock feather, crown. He had a garland of kadamba flowers, which fragrance perfumed all directions. I just read recently that Krishna is so attracted by the forest flowers. That's why we should have lots of forest flowers, garden flowers. When Krishna smells, he said he could not resist but to be attracted to the smell of the garland, of the flowers. So all these things is decorated, and locks of hair, beautiful hair. Krishna's name is Keshava, beautiful black hair, curly hair. His flute and so on, and he said his beautiful face is smeared with the dust of the cows, from the cow's hoofs. So it's all decorated. Krishna looks very, very beautiful. So and so on. There's a wonderful description. Krishna's body and so on. So when Krishna saw Sarupa, he jumped. He said he jumped towards Sarupa, towards this Gopakumar who came. And what he did, he just embraced him, and just both of them fell on the ground in great ecstasy and started rolling in ecstasy, crying. So this was how Gopakumar greeted the Lord. Lord actually jumped on him, and they roll on the ground. So imagine the Simadev, Bhakta Stas, I haven't seen you in a long time, and rolling a little bit. That would be a scene, huh? Everyone making videos, posting on YouTube, Sahajyas in Simhachalam, Anyways, so the point here is then what happened, he said they start grabbing each other's neck, Haribol. They were laying down. So the gopis were very alarmed. Who is this person? What is this done to Krishna? And they were so perturbed. So they thought he is a Kamsa's agent. He came to kill Krishna. So gopis immediately, Gopas, they to Nanda Maharaj came, they heard Yashoda came all with sticks to defend Krishna. Who is this person, And what happened is, even cows and bulls came, and the birds. Imagine, everybody came wondering what's going on here, And then who came? Balaram. Balaram always comes in, he's always cool-headed. But if he came first, he was crying also, oh my God, he's killed. But he really soon he realized, I know. Balaram knows. Balaram is older brother, he knows, he protects Krishna. So he said, so he just took them, brought them both up, he let it go of their necks, whatever. And, clean Krishna's, limbs a little bit from the dust and everything. And then Krishna was so pleased, he took the hand of Gopakumar and he put it on his chest and he said, I'm so happy to see you. And then he asked him, how are you? How did you travel? Are you tired? Is your health well? Krishna was very, very nice. And then he greeted everybody. Actually, everything is all right. Don't worry. How are you, Mother Yashoda? How are you? He greeted everybody, and then everything was wonderful. And then he proceeded like a gait of an elephant. How an elephant walks? So he walked straight towards the village of Vrindavan. So this is how the spontaneous devotional service, how we greet the Lord. This is what's going to happen when you enter the spiritual world, according to Sanatana Goswami. Maybe some details will be different. Maybe Krishna will not choke you, especially if you're a young girl, if you're a manjari. I don't think Krishna will choke you. But this is, at least in this, his rasa was a cowherd boy. So he had the form of a boy. So meaning this is a little bit different way of approaching Krishna's spontaneous love. I don't know why did I say this. I just want to say how I went all so far because we spoke yesterday about Bhagavatamrita. So I want to say also about this. So this is the not even beginning line of Namam Ishwaram Sachitananda Rupam. I just did Namam, not even Ishwaram. Ishwaram we can do tomorrow. So, Damodarashtakam ki jai. Would you like to say anything around Krishna, or anybody like to ask? Yeah, the senior devotees, Ramananda Prabhu. You have yes. Anything else? Then, thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.